Hello Canada, welcome to another edition of the Canadian Citizen Journal. I'm your host, alias Tagai. Well, all hell has broke loose in LA. It's starting to get serious. What started off with the National Guard has now turned into what looks like the military being called in due to the chaos. We're talking firebombs, robberies, all kind. It's Carnage City. We're gonna show some live footage that's been recorded and posted on X on what's going on down there, and of course a small update via the news that just rolled out here as of 2 hours ago. Straight chaos. We're gonna dabble on a few other things here as well. We got some news that came out here. The WWF has released the carbon sinks that Canada has, and they did it quietly and silently, thus just proving that we're a carbon sink, people. This is something I've been saying for a long time, and I've still been working on a big episode exposing the whole climate scare agenda crap, the BS that carbon for some reason isn't actually the gas of life that we all know it is. They're changing the numbers. I guess liberals still believe 2 + 2 is 5. And then we just got a few more updates. We're going to dally on the fires. GS strategies finally got revoked. I guess that you're going to be banned for a few years. Personally, they should all be in jail. And then just a few more updates just to kind of fill the program in on what's going on across Canada. But let's just start off with these fires in New York. This is just sheer chaos. I really feel sorry for all the innocent people down there, especially these shop owners. They're just getting completely pillaged and bombed out of existence.
Good evening. An extraordinary move tonight by Donald Trump, the US president ordering a military rollout on American soil. 2,000 National Guard soldiers have been mobilised as tensions reignite in Los Angeles over immigration raids. Chaos reigning as protesters squared off with federal officials.
The streets of LA, now a battlefield. Police and Border Patrol officers on one side, staring down protesters on the other.
It looks like a war zone over here, guys.
Shopping trolleys strewn across streets, fires too, used to shut down lanes. Pallets of concrete blocks brought in to form more makeshift blockades. The situation unravelling for a second day after immigration and customs enforcement officers in tactical gear moved in to the southern LA suburb of Paramount. Officers moving forward, pushing protesters who trip over others lying on the ground.
These agents that have been lining up here guarding this street and throwing out those flashbang grenades, you can see how heavily armed they are.
As some of the Border Patrol vehicles try to leave, they're met with an aerial assault. Dozens hurling rocks, cracking windscreens as they drive past. From inside the cars, officers in masks struggling to make out the projectiles and protesters through the tear gas-filled air. Another group sets a car on fire. Dozens more storm a highway, forming a human barricade in an attempt to stop this federal marshal's bus.
I don't know who is on this bus. I don't know if anyone is on this bus, but they are kind of trying to creep forward.
The crowd chanting, demanding the release of detainees.
People first and then policy. This is not the way, guys.
We're heartbroken. It's very unbelievable to see all this. Never thought it was going to happen in our own neighborhood.
These surprise raids, part of the Trump administration's immigration crackdown. ICE agents arresting dozens of undocumented migrants, a move met with anger from Angelenos.
The situation here has spiralled into a face-off between protesters and these federal agents. They are using flashbang grenades to try and disperse this crowd. There is tear gas heavy in the air. If I can just show you here, This is the scene. Oh, we're just going to step away there. This is the scene right now.
That gas, so strong it's overpowering. Protesters offering water and milk to each other, and us as well.
We're over here just trying to help the people.
We keep coming back as well. They're not gonna get rid of us like that.
The violence spreading across the country. These clashes outside ICE headquarters in New York. In Los Angeles, several people have been arrested for alleged assaults on federal agents, a situation unlikely to be diffused quickly. Donald Trump calling in the military, deploying 2,000 soldiers, California's governor slamming the decision.
We're already ahead of the game. We're already mobilizing. We're going to bring National Guard in.
Tonight, the military mobilised on American soil, an extraordinary move dividing the City of Angels. In Los Angeles, Lauren Tomasi, 9 News.
This is completely out of hand. And a lot of this can be blamed on the current elected officials who are out there ramping up this violence. There's no reason for it. I don't know how you feel about this. Let me know in the comments. But the flooding that happened to the Americans was completely unjust. It was done on purpose. They were shipping the majority of these illegals into Republican states. They were trying to stay in power. It is the ultimate fascist move. Our government is doing it to us here. Do you settle it quickly and stop it from happening? Or do you allow it to keep happening until the point where you have completely lost control of your country, your economic system, every aspect? Canada is fallen. We have been taken over. Doesn't matter where you go, we have been taken over. Every single system we have is broken because of mass immigration. This is an agenda, people. They're doing this on purpose to create chaos. Now, I had another episode recorded, and I have been trying for 4 hours to get permissions to play it. I kept having it checked, verified, copyright this, copyright that. And it's sad because I was trying to get the interview with Joe Rogan and Kash Patel. I was trying to show a few clips of it. Well, piss on Joe if he's going to be that ignorant that they won't even allow clips to be pushed. I won't show him if that's how he's going to be. It's not like I'm stealing his entire video. I just wanted to post a couple things. There are other videos I had with that as well, showing the comparison between the US and Canada, which kind of was pertaining to what's going on, all this chaos. So I'm just going to have to revamp that. I'll probably just end up pushing that one aside for now and then moving on to a couple other projects I'm working on. And hopefully I don't get bumped with just Jordan Peterson and Gad Saad interview that I've been trying to put together, which I believe is well, they are the two greatest minds in Canada. Jordan Peterson has literally been ran out of our country from politicians because he goes against this insanity of fascism, using everything in their political power to persecute him, remove all of his rights. And the other greatest mind that we have is Gad Saad, who is on a hiatus from his university and is got a stack of resumes from all over the world on other universities trying to poach him and bring them to their country. And from what I pieced together on this last interview he had, it sounds like he's going to head south to the States, probably Florida. We're seeing sheer chaos. Now I'm going to show you a pile of footage from down there. And there's one part that you have to really pay attention to in most of these videos, is check out the scarves they're wearing. These are all brainwashed individuals by propaganda, pro-Hamas supporters. Now, I really need you to like, share, and subscribe. I've been pushing the edge, kind of testing a few algorithms out here in the last 3 or 4 days. I do this every now and then. Once I get my consistency back and my channel slowly keeps climbing, I try to average around a 2% increase, 2 to 5%. Once I see that consistency, I try to run these little tests on there to see how far I can push it, because the whole reason I created this channel was to stop fake news and to just get the truth and facts out there. Sorry, so sorry, just the facts. And the censorship is incredible. And I'm talking, I'm finding words like, I can say liberal, Carney, Trudeau, and I can get censored by it. It actually knocks my algorithms down. Now, that is political interference from a fascist government. When I can't criticize my government without my platform being censored, that should tell you, you should be very afraid. This is the crap we're going to be seeing soon, except it'll be the opposite. It'll be too late. We have a serious immigration problem here. Over 5 million immigrants that aren't allowed to be in our country, and our government hasn't acted on a single one. They don't care. This is why all of the policing organizations were backing the conservatives. And what did mainstream say? Crickets. Now, I'm going to show you some live footage from going down in the States. This is sheer hell down there. It's just unbelievable that the representatives, Newsom and all the rest of them, would allow this to happen and pump it up, force this to happen through their rhetoric. Just disgusting display. Here they're making Molotovs. I'll get censored for that part too. I don't care. I'm at the bottom. They've censored the living daylights out of me the last 4 or 5 days here, so I figured, what the hell, I'll do a couple real good ones. And what a perfect place to start. This was last night. I guess these would be mostly peaceful protests, like Andy Lee quotes on this video. I love Andy Lee. She's awesome. This is craziness.
Everything has changed now. Detention centers in my practice of 40 years, but everything has changed now.
Attorney Nieto, we're going to let you go on this note. Thank you so much for giving us a few minutes of your time. We're going to have to move down to downtown LA as things seem to be picking up down there. Once again, we thank you for your time. Let's get to Lauren Posen, who is down there. Lauren, what are you seeing and hearing? It's looking like things are getting chaotic.
A large crowd of law enforcement come out.
We have, oh my God, we have tear gas, we have fireworks going off, tear gas is in the air, people are dispersing. I can't see anything. I'm sorry, I can't.
sheer chaos. They're just looting whatever they want. This isn't a protest.
So everybody's hopping out to free beer. Poor guy. He's like, I don't know what to do.
Well, what can you do? There's workers in the company, bro. What's he gonna do? Say no and then don't.
They got riot shields and everything.
Yeah, sheer chaos. Absolute chaos. So, moving on. So, the WWF has let this out. This is mapping Canada's carbon landscape. This is it's kind of a huge thing, but of course, media won't be talking about this. This is something like, I'm a reader. I've known about this for a long time. I've just been waiting for other outlets and to get serious about, like, just saying the truth, talking about the truth. So Canada's first ever national carbon map reveals the location of billions, yes, billions of tons of carbon stored in ecosystems across the country. This data and how we use it could alter the pace of climate change. Now, I will guarantee you, they're going to use this to manipulate the green agenda. And they're already in the process of doing it. So they're allowing themselves to finally publish and produce the facts that our nation is a global carbon sink. We can get rid of all of the carbon crap. We can just forget about all of it and still suck up something like 23% of the world's carbon. So the higher carbon landscapes play an important role in regulating the Earth's climate by removing carbon from the atmosphere and storing it in natural ecosystems. If these ecosystems are disturbed, that stored carbon can be released back into the atmosphere, accelerating climate change. Now, for any of my new viewers and any of my older viewers that haven't yet, I urge you to check out my prior episodes. I did one all about dams, the truth about dams. And it's, well, to say very damning. Dams are one of the worst ecological and environmental destructive forces humans can do to create electricity. Part of it is because of it altering the sink, the natural sink, the ebb and flow of water, and the sheer devastation it causes by flooding out ecosystems. We'll call it like lungs. It just floods them right out. Now, this, trust me, they're going to use this against us. This is all coming out now because they're trying to stop disturbance. They're going to start to use this as an excuse to not build pipelines, to not drill for oil, to not obviously use coal, etc., etc. But, of course, windmills are good, solar is good because it's not disturbing anything. But what you're not seeing is that the places that are digging up the coal to make the solar panels and the plastics and the rest of all of the rare earth minerals, you won't see because it's not done in your backyard. This is liberal ideology, right? If a tree falls in a forest, it didn't fall because you didn't see it. Don't worry about it. It's all good. This is how their brain works. So I've downloaded the entire. This is the whole AGU, Advanced Earth and Space Sciences, Global Biochemical Cycles. It's the entire text. It'll be posted, as always. Everything's posted below. I put all my evidence. I'm not a clickbaiter. I want my audience to be educated, and I want to make sure that anybody who sees this and wants to raise a stink and say, oh, he's lying, can just be proven wrong by reading the evidence. I'm here to give just the facts. Sorry, just the facts. So plants store about 80% of the live biomass on Earth with an estimated pool of about 400 PGC, Bar-on et al. 2018 levels. Of those, approximately 70% is stored in above ground biomass, AGB, of forest areas, with estimates varying from about 290 PGC to about 320 PGC. AGB includes all vegetation above the ground, so stems, branches, bark, seeds, flowers, and foliage of live plants, and is one of the most dynamic terrestrial ecosystem carbon reservoirs. It differs from SOC pools, which are not as readily oxidized as AGB. Now, all of the plants we know are obviously sucking up carbon because carbon's good for them. This is why I inject carbon in my greenhouse when I'm growing my plants in there, especially the starting season. They breathe out oxygen, which is what we need, right? So CO2 is good for plants and O2 is good for humans, or H2, or yeah, O2. So anyways, this is all, we've known this, but media won't use it unless they can manipulate it. And like, trust me, I'm telling you, all of this will be going through the house here right away, because we're seeing a mass push with this green cartel to stomp out any type of affordable energy for their conglomerate buddies. Now, there's going to be a lot of people saying, hey, this is great, we're going to look at that. Okay, and it is, it's factual, it's great, but just be warned. They're going to weaponize it. Now, if you actually go into the WF website, you have to really closely read the way that they're wording this study, because you can see the setup is already there. So we'll just go down here. Where are we? The total terrestrial ecosystem carbon storage across Canada, the darker shades, represents larger carbon stocks. The study revealed significant carbon stores in coastal British Columbia forests, the boreal forest at the Hudson's Bay and the James Bay lowlands. So digging deeper, biomass versus soils. Terrestrial ecosystems store carbon in plants and soils, marine and coastal ecosystems, blah, 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 blah. To date, most studies have focused on understanding how much carbon is stored above ground in trees and other plants, for example. This research, however, revealed that when you look below ground and get deeper into levels of soils, there are massive deposits of carbon. This is especially true for peatlands, a type of wetland found throughout the country with large swaths found in northern Ontario and Quebec. Canada has an estimated 1.1 million square kilometers of peatlands, approximately 12% of the country, and second in size only to Russia. Now, this is all being worded to go to a zero disturbance. In other words, you can't dig a trench for a pipe. You're disturbing that carbon. And we know that Carney's new famous, most friendly, pet-friendly, and mostly talked about propaganda word is decarbonized. So, good that this is out. Hopefully all of my audience takes the time and reads this. And more than anything, read the attached PDF file. Because this, if you read it really carefully, gives you the total understanding that, like, really, knock it off, Canada. Just knock it off. This whole green thing is just a joke. But once you read it through and you start listening to the news cycles in the coming months and possibly years if this government doesn't fall, this is going to be weaponized. And I'll probably be referring back to this lots in future episodes on how they're going to twist and deviate the words in order to use this from stopping any type of resource development, because the cabal can't make money off it. So anyways, we're going to move on. This is a great video. I just wanted to post this. It's just a great reminder of the reality of what the government is doing.
Every year, Chinese coal consumption is expected to fall. Every year it goes up. China has 1,161 coal-fired power plants. In 2023, they built 2 plants per week. India
2 coal plants a week, China builds.
Has a mere 285, but they too have now got the coal bug. They're currently opening 2 plants a month, and their construction plans are accelerating.
India's officially become the largest coal exporter. Previous episodes, I did a report on that. It's huge, vast amounts. They're calling themselves an energy superpower now, by the way. Go figure with coal, huh? Interesting.
China and India are about as committed to net zero as Britain is to investigating the grooming gangs. But it is the USA who've played the smartest game. It was the United States, through Al Gore, who launched climate anxiety on the world. In 2009, Al Gore warned that the North Pole would be ice-free by the summer of 2014. But the US never stopped drilling. And now, just at the point where many Western countries have swallowed the net zero ideology, hook, line, and sinker, you guys, and I'm looking at the 1,000 Americans in the room, are moving on to leave the rest of us like a half-dead fish flopping on the riverbank. Now, I'm not suggesting that this is a conspiracy. I know that in America, you have Republicans and Democrats. And the idea of you conspiring together is a bit like Keir Starmer eloping with Elon Musk. But just like with wokery and DEI, America launched a set of luxury beliefs on the world, watched as those beliefs gained traction, only to discard them in their own land just before they reached the point of fatal destruction.
And this is what they've done to Canada. This is what the Tides Foundation and all of these other called NGOs who got this fascist liberal government in power 10 years ago. They were the sponsors. They ran a 5-year hate campaign against Canadian oil, all the while not talking about the Placeta fields down in California that were being mined, that are not like 5-8% the size of what our oil sands are, but produced more emissions. Their oil good, our oil bad. They want to shut us down. If they can't make the money off it, they sure as hell don't want other countries making the money off it. Thus why Trump wanted the liberals in power. Because he knows, hey man, auto sector, come on down. You guys aren't going to be allowed carbon combustion engines. Bring them down. We'll take them all. And all of the businesses, all the car companies were going, they were freaking out when the Trudeaus were like, oh my God, we're going to shut, we're going to go all EV. I've showed this previous episodes. The CEO of Ford saying it straight out. We've known this for years. We've been planning for this. We were just waiting for the right administration to come in and give us the ability to move our factories out of Canada. Let them make EVs. They're going to go tits up. We'll make more money here. Better that than all of a sudden us having to slowly change over the cost of all of these factories to brand new factories to build EVs where they use 90% automation. Goodbye 90% of all of the auto sector jobs in Canada. You want to do your whole carbon? You go ahead, vote Liberal. Elbows up, people. Just sheer insanity. Canada's just so screwed. So this is a good article, Canada Post. Canadian media choose Hamas fiction over facts. There's a pile of these articles that are out there. There's a lot of different outlets. Most of them, all the ones I found aren't in English. So I'm not going to show them to you. So I'm just going to show you, I'll show you one of the articles. And I'm glad it's actually a Canadian article. And, leave it to National Post. These guys are pretty damn good. So, as someone who spent a career in newsrooms reporting, anchoring, and holding truth to power, I've never been more concerned about the erosion of credibility in the media and the damage it's doing to public trust. That concern has only deepened in recent weeks as misinformation and the careless amplification of it continues to seep into even our most established Canadian outlets. Case in point, the events surrounding the supposed Israeli attack on a food depot in Gaza on Sunday. Now, this was a week ago. Several mainstream Canadian news organizations reported that Israel had killed Palestinians at the site, repeating claims that originated from Hamas without sufficient verification. Their source? Associated Press. Routers. Wire Services Canadian media outlets. Subscribe for international reporting. Trusted, not fact-checked from here. Within hours, video evidence and detailed reports from the Israeli Defense Forces strongly contradicted that narrative, showing it to be very likely false. It took almost a full day to see a single clarification in the recording. By then, the damage was done. Once again, a claim manufactured by a T group was laundered through suspected Western media, reaching audiences hungry for truth but served distortion. It goes on and on. There was a time not so long ago when journalists double and triple checked the facts before airing or publishing a story. We'd hold back, even under pressure, until we could confirm. We knew that credibility wasn't just currency, it was everything. Somewhere along the line, the speed of the news cycle began to outrun the discipline of journalism, and we're all paying the price. In this case, Jews are asking, is it blatant bias against Israel? The Jewish community is paying the price most directly. These inaccuracies are not just journalistic failures, they're fueling anti-Semitism across Canada. No wonder some Jewish Canadians are quietly contemplating an exit plan, and not some. Lots have already fled, more are fleeing, and like I said, Gad is on his way out. He's already kind of gotten prepared for it. I just broke my heart when I heard about this a month ago. Gad's leaving. It's just another great mind gone because of fear, hate, and division perpetrated, pushed, and promoted by a fascist government and their propaganda machine. Great article, as always, posted below. I urge you to read it in its entirety. Now, on this, I'm going to state something. I haven't done anything on the Ukraine master plan that destroyed all of these Russian airplanes, blah, 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 blah. Before I even started this channel, I had already was reading on fact checking because there was so much just BS. And then I got serious into it and I read a few really good books. And I still do. Anytime there's any upgrades or anything I see on fact checking, I get involved in it and I read it. And what's funny is a lot of the stuff on fact checking is actually BS as well. So you gotta really kind of educate yourself. I don't put anything out there without me fact checking the living daylights out of it. And I'll tell you what, that whole Ukraine stunk from high heaven. So I started fact checking. And I never did an episode because so far, almost every image we've got has been proven to be AI. Now, I can't tell the Russian, because the Russians are putting stuff out, that's got AI. So all I know is it wasn't this great mass, beautifully executed. It wasn't. Did they do some damage? Yes, they did. From what I can tell, they did some damage. Honest to God, from what I've seen, 4 planes. That's it. They added a 0 onto that. 4 planes. That's all I've been able to prove is 4 planes. Now, let's just say, okay, and on the other half, there's the Russian propaganda covering it and say, okay, well, maybe 8 planes, 10 planes. That's a far cry from 40 super bombers and 26 fighter jets and 22... It's a far cry. All of the video, I haven't seen any of it that's been proven not to have been AI. It's all AI. Every single frame has been infected by AI. If you were telling the truth, you wouldn't AI any of it. So again, propaganda and our media outlets push this crap. And that's why I'm here. Sorry, just the facts. That whole Ukraine thing, bullocks. All of it, bullocks. The whole bit of it. I don't believe any of it. I hardly believe anything that comes out of there. I have to do massive fact checking on anything. And when I do, I post it. When I know the video's clean, when I know it's real, and when I know who it's coming from. Because I know people who are there. When I get the footage and it's verified by them, I will run it and I will talk about it as I've done on previous episodes. And again, if you are a subscriber, you know how I feel about that whole situation. Everybody is being completely gaslit and shouldn't even talk about Ukraine if they haven't at least watched the documentary Ukraine on Fire. You want to really know what's going on in Ukraine, watch Ukraine on Fire. It deals with my ancestors. Trust me, I know what I'm frickin' talking about. The media has done nothing but gaslight and lie to you about that entire war. The war that should never have happened. It's an embarrassment. Now, anyways, moving on past this article and the propaganda and all the lies. It's just, you really got to watch what you watch. Watch the internet, people. If they don't put the evidence below, take everything with a grain of salt. If they're not willing to get out there and fact check and tell you all of the steps they're doing in order to verify what they're saying, and again, put the evidence below, take it with a grain of salt. Man, I scroll through so many videos to try to build stories. 99.9% of the stuff out there is just crap. It's lies. It's amazing how many lies there are out there. It's craziness. Be safe out there, people. Don't suck everything in. So, we're going to move on here. This, I thought, was kind of funny, but not safe. But kind of funny.
follow this road here around, come under the bridge, turn right at the stop sign.
Right.
You're going to come out over here.
It's not the kind of road trip surprise any traveler wants.
I wish there was more signs before we got here.
Were you a little surprised then?
Yeah, I was very surprised.
A large sinkhole appeared on the Coquihalla Thursday just south of the Great Bear snow shed, shutting down northbound lanes between Hope and Merritt well into Friday, forcing drivers to take lengthy detours via Highway 1 and Highway 3.
I was headed to Merritt and actually Kamloops and Chase, but I guess I'm going the other way.
We're going to Burns Lake. Yeah, so we got a little long ways to go.
According to the Ministry of Transportation, the sinkhole was discovered by a contractor Thursday evening. Adding, quote, crews responded quickly and determined that the sinkhole was an isolated incident related to the Trans Mountain pipeline boring work in the area. The ministry was hoping to reopen the route early Friday afternoon, but geotechnical issues have pushed that back. In the meantime, drivers were stuck making the best of a longer than expected travel day.
Yeah, it's good. We get to see another part of the country.
Okay, so I'm going to straighten something up right now, okay? Again, propaganda. Are you ready? Propaganda. Now, take a close look at the picture. Take a very close look, and you will see there's this dam-like structure there, and it's set on a very angular, large rock, and you can see it's even being sealed, the entire edge of it, in order to ensure that this is for drainage. Okay. Is there a pipeline there? No. I've tried just 3 or 4 different angles to go through this. I've watched this video, rewound, slowed, blew it up, tried everything. There is no way a pipeline caused that hole. I do know what caused it. Take a look at the picture. Anybody who knows anything about anything could pretty much walk up and pour water on that hill and know why at the bottom of that hill there is a washout. This is propaganda. This is why I was laughing. It's funny. It's hilarious. Not so funny because thank God somebody found that hole. That's a nice size hole. That could have been a fatality. These cars are flying. This is the Coquihalla, man. This is a serious highway. It's funny. I was just talking about this with my sisters here last weekend. This is a major highway. Pipeline, huh? It's right there. You can see the slope. Clear as day. The grade is there. You can even see the off grade on the opposite side. You can see it clear as day. You don't have to be, an environmental scientist or whatever to look at that and know if you're standing on the bottom of an eave on a sloped roof, you're going to get water on you. If you pull the eaves trough off, what happens after 4 or 5, months? All of a sudden your basement starts flooding, or you start to see the erosion all the way around where the water's falling, the power of the water's washing it away. This is propaganda. This is propaganda. This is anti-pipeline propaganda. This is green agenda propaganda. Doesn't surprise me. Global news.
To reopen the route.
These are the little things, like when I'm picking out news clips, I'll be looking for a singular story. I've got to go through 10, 15, 20, 30 different news clips to find one that I don't have to sit here and explain to you while I'm trying to go through a news cycle. But when they're this obvious, this blatant, where you can see the evidence, I just had to use it. I literally started laughing right away. My eyes saw that and I just started laughing. I mean, what do you show it quick enough, you'd think people are, not going to notice it. But guess what? People don't notice it because they're not aware that every day you are being just pummeled with fake news. It's constantly in your ears, in your eyes. It's around you. It's buzzing. This is what propaganda is. This is horse pucky.
Early Friday afternoon, but geotechnical issues have pushed that back. In the meantime, drivers were stuck making the best of a longer than expected travel day.
Yeah, it's good. We get to see another part of the country. Adventure, new roads we've never seen before. So it's wonderful.
We have lots of time. We don't rush, and we have to sit and wait for an hour or two. It's okay too.
Yeah. All good. Craziness. So this is quite comical. This is something that I've talked about on a couple episodes as well. Now, if you know who Eli Ross is, he's one of my favorites. Like, I really admire Eli Ross and what he's done for his nation in BC, as well as the other 4 nations involved with him in getting an LNG gas line out there to ship. This is Canada. If you are native, if you are indigenous, you got to follow the Indian Act. As you know, that's the way the government picks and chooses who's indigenous and who's not. So first we got to straighten that out, the inequalities of the Indian Act, the whole bullshit scheme that it really is. Am I Indian enough or am I not Indian enough? Am I what do I want to be today? Indian, indigenous, native, what? Bullshit. The whole idea, if you ask any indigenous clan, tribe, or nation to give you the creator's vision of what a human should be and do, you will find it's equality over everything else. Equality in nature, equality for every aspect has to have it. That is the thread of life. That is what keeps Turtle Island in balance. Every single thing that I'm seeing in the last 30 years with the indigenous across Canada has been an abomination. I cannot stress enough how this article proves the major problems we are facing here in Canada from a government who from day one has done nothing but make mistakes through inequality. And now the tables have turned. And now it is anybody who isn't indigenous who is going to suffer. We'll go over the article very quickly. BC gives green light to LNG pipeline with no need for new environmental assessment. Pipeline purchased by an Escaladed Nation and Texas-based Western LNG now intended to feed proposed Coquihalla LNG plant north of Prince Rupert. The BC government says a decade-old environmental assessment certificate remains valid for the construction of a natural gas pipeline in northern BC in a decision opposed by the province's Green Party and environmental groups. The Environmental Assessment Office says it is determined that Prince Rupert Gas Transmission Pipeline has substantially started fulfilling and requiring the 2014 certificate and allowing the project to proceed without a new assessment. The original approval was for a roughly 900-kilometer pipeline between Hudson's Hope in northeastern BC and Lilu Island near Prince Rupert, the site of the liquefied natural gas processing facility that was later cancelled. The pipeline was purchased by the Escaladed Nation and Texas-based Western LNG, blah, blah, blah. A project the province says is still undergoing environmental assessment. The province says the office is also reviewing requests by the proponent to change the pipeline route, including shifting its endpoint to the Coquihalla facility and rerouting the eastern portion of the pipeline. The BC Greens say in a statement that upholding the original certificate is reckless, prioritizing the project's American financial backers over Indigenous rights, environmental protection, and community well-being. Hello, okay, the only reason this is getting passed is because it's Indigenous. There's Indigenous investors involved. If this had nothing to do with natives, with the Indigenous people, this would be like what Danielle Smith has got to fight. All of these laws and all of these regulations. This is what Eli Ross used against Canada in order to get that pipeline built through those nations. And this is what he is arguing about, is the inequalities. At what point are we finally going to realize that we are still living in this silly barbaric world where people can be better than others? And for you out east, go ahead, bow to your king, and then think about the question I just asked. At what point is somebody better than you? How many generations do you have to live here before you have the same rights? And what? They can have mixed blood and still keep their status if they're on one side or genealogy or sex of that clan, but the others, no, you lose it right away. At what time are we going to finally wake up and realize how screwed our system is because we're still living this life of inequality? How about we knock it off? Yes, they should have a seat at the table. Yes, they need their hunting lands. I'd like my hunting lands. Guess what? No Indian Act for me. I got bumped off the list. I'm not pure enough. Shucks, huh? This is the silliness of it. So who gets what? Bullshit. Let's go back to how the Creator dealt with my ancestors, which was everybody helps out everybody. The weakest, you help. The laziest, you boot. That's society. That's the heritage. Sounds a lot like what Canada's been trying to say we've been striving to be for the last 60 years, but nobody's doing it. Here, if you're one sex, you're better than the other. If you fly a rainbow flag, you deserve the job. If you're indigenous, you get that. If you're white, you don't. How about, can we just be equal? This is just disgusting. And this is EB buying votes. Buying votes. It's disgusting. Screw Alberta. Oh, no white man gas coming through here. No. Oh, native. Oh, no, that's fine. Oh, yeah, whatever you need. Your land, it's all good. Hey, no, oh, yeah, it's all good. It's good. It's bullshit. Driving me absolutely nuts the more I see it. Anyways, this BC wildfire that crossed over from BC into Alberta, this is getting serious.
And threatening communities there. There are now, we can tell you, 142 residents that are part of this evacuation order. BC Wildfire Service has just given us an update, and they say that they were anticipating winds from the northwest, but those winds didn't happen. There was minimal fire growth, which gave them a little bit of a reprieve. Now, if we can see the map of this area where this evacuation order is in place. The red is the order, the yellow around it, that's an evacuation alert. And right in the middle there, you'll see Kelly Lake. This is of particular concern to BC Wildfire. This sits right in the middle of the fire's path. A number of people have stayed behind in this community, and it is believed that they are still there. Fire Information Officer Carly DeRosier says so far, though, they have been successful in fighting back the flames.
So we have not seen the fire front itself encroach on the community, and continuing to work. That is our number one priority on this incident, is to protect life and property. So Kelly Lake does remain a top priority for structure protection and wildland fire crews. But as it stands right now, minimal impact to the community of Kelly Lake.
That update only moments ago. She says that there are 60 crew members working on structure protection, 117 wildfire crews from BC, as well as crews from Alberta that are working side by side in order to protect this community. Today, smoke from the north, they say, is going to sort of sit over the area, and that's expected to insulate it, keep the humidity levels high, and help them get the upper hand, get a little bit of a head start on this fire ahead of some more sustained winds that are expected tomorrow, higher temperatures, lower humidity. More evacuation orders have been also issued for Peace River Regional District, both to the north and the south. But what we understand right now is that there are minimal residences that are impacted by this order to the north. No residents impacted to the south, but some oil and gas infrastructure that they're concerned about there, Natasha.
All right, let's talk about a fire that's happening near Fort Nelson, British Columbia. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, and consequently, this is affecting the Dawson Creek, Fort St. John, Fort Nelson area, an area where a number of the evacuees from the Peace River Regional District have been told to go. So this is the Summit Lake Fire. This is affecting the Fort Nelson First Nation. They have issued an evacuation order for the Kanta area last night, upgraded an alert as well for the Fontas area to an evacuation order as well. In addition to this, this is Highway 97, the Alaska Highway at Steamboat Hill. This is a time lapse of about the last 24 hours. You'll know traffic gets very light there. That's because they've shut down a 162-kilometer stretch of this highway because of concerns of the smoke and the wildfire in this area. This, Natasha, is very rugged terrain. There's a lot of fuel and very few fire breaks. This is what is making people very concerned, especially with these gusty winds that are expected to come in and add even more fuel to this fire.
Okay, Linda, thanks so much.
Craziness. Now, some good news. Well, not good news. This is bad news, but the good news comes next. So I clicked the wrong one first here. But this prolific BC drunk driver, he could face deportation after dozens of driving bans over the last 30 years. But the driver did get a reduced sentence because Mounties captured him on surveillance cameras using the toilet in a holding cell. What? Like what? The driver, who's racked up 32 driving prohibitions or suspensions, as well as 16 24-hour driving bans, failed to convince British Columbia judge he should get a lighter sentence than normal for drunk driving because more than 6 months in jail could get him deported to India. Vernon's Garandapal Singh Bajwa, a permanent resident of Canada who escaped deportation in 2019 on an impaired driving conviction with a sentence of 5 months and 29 days. Do you get it? You see how the judge did that? This is our appointees, people. We're in trouble here, man. Purposely set it 1 day less. The guy was drunk driving. Unbelievable. Got a reduced sentence this time around because Mounties captured him on surveillance cameras using the toilet in a holding cell after he was arrested for impaired driving again on May 11th, 2022, after rear-ending a white Hyundai Tucson with his Mercedes sport utility vehicle in the parking lot of a wholesale club. His blood alcohol level was more than twice the legal limit. Listen here, buddy. This guy is driving a Mercedes in Canada, drinking and driving, more than once busted. He can go. Let me know how you feel in the comments. He can go. We don't need that. We don't need that at all here. But the judge refused to lighten Bajwa's sentence on convictions for impaired and prohibited driving to a level that wouldn't have immigration consequences for the 57-year-old. Any sentence over 6 months can result in deportation from Canada. Now, we'll see if this actually happens. Personally, he's got to go. But at least this judge finally said, okay, no. Let's see. Did he give him a real sentence? To exceed Mr. Bajwa's request for a conditional sentence or a reduction of the jail time on either count for the impact of the collateral immigration consequences to Mr. Bajwa, and as a remedy for breaching his charter right to be free from unreasonable search and seizure? What? Okay. Would bring the administration of justice into disrepute and result in an inappropriate and artificial sentence. In other words, an unfit sentence. Judge David Patterson of BC's Provincial Court wrote in a recent decision. Bajwa immigrated to Canada from India's Punjab region over 34 years ago. He received his first British Columbia driving prohibition March 9th, 1993, said the judge. He was also accumulated a substantial number of additional criminal code convictions and Motor Vehicle Act infractions. The Crown recommended Bajwa get between 9 and 12 months of jail and a $2,500 fine and a 5-year driving prohibition for the impaired driving charge, plus another 4 months behind bars for getting behind the wheel while he was subject to 5 separate driving prohibition suspensions. I am flabbergasted that the Crown Counsel has only sought a 4 months consecutive jail sentence for driving while prohibited, Patterson said in his decision dated June 2nd. Given the circumstances of the offense, it is hard to imagine a more suitable case for the 2-year less a day maximum sentence allowed. Bajwa's lawyer argued for a conditional sentence or no more jail time than he got in 2019, 5 months and 29 days behind bars. He noted that he would allow Bajwa to remain in Canada. The court heard Bajwa has no one in India and that he's in the process of getting a divorce, as his alcohol usage ruined his relationship with his estranged wife and his children, said the judge, who noted they live in Canada. Well, okay, then get out. If you're drinking and it's already ruined your relationship and now you're putting humans like Canadians' lives on the lines, I'm sorry. And if he's been doing this since 93, think about that. So they say, oh, he's been in here over 30 years, but 30 years ago he was already drinking and driving. Think about that. This guy's got to go. He's been doing it since he got here. He's been doing it since before he was a Canadian citizen. Why wasn't he sent then? Craziness. Absolute craziness. Now here's the good news. The good news. GC Strategies Incorporated determined to be ineligible under the ineligibility and suspension policy. Thank God. Now hopefully these guys go to jail. These guys need to go to jail. Big time. This is crazy what the amount of money these people ripped off. And theoretically, they should be put on lie detectors, and we should find out every other person involved, because we know there's MPs involved in this. Huge money laundering scheme, people. A thorough assessment of the supplier's conduct by the Office of Supplier Integrity and Compliance found the company to have met the threshold for a determination of ineligibility pursuant to the ineligibility and suspension policy. As a result, the company is ineligible from entering the contracts, blah, 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 blah. In other words, it doesn't really say anything. They had previously suspended the security status of GC Strategies in March 2024, which precluded it from participating in all federal procurements. They don't say why. They don't say what they did. They don't say how much money they stole. They don't say that he was abolished from Parliament. None of that. This is just a soft slap. This is what you would call a press release. Here, it's done. Let's not talk about it ever again. They're just covering it up, people. They're just covering it up. Just unbelievable. This government. What is the corruption we've never seen ever in our Canadian history like this before? Unbelievable. Elbows up. They voted him back in. Oh my God, it's just so frustrating. Anyways, you guys, I'm going to call that an episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, I'm hoping that this Gad Sad Jordan Peterson interview goes without any major glitches or violations. And I'll get it out to you because it really does pertain to what's going on in Canada. And it uses philosophy and my favorite, history and religion, which I love because I've read every religious text I could get my hands on, you name it. Just every single one. I've even gone down to the States and looked at and talked with scholars around there with the Dead Sea Scrolls. So yeah, I'm a big fan. But not because it's my religion, although I was raised Catholic and of course other religions. I do it because they're the best history books we have. They're the oldest history books we have. And those who understand the past can see the future. And those who forget it, well, they're condemned to repeat it. So anyways, until next time, you guys, it's Canadian Citizen Journal. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. If you are, punch that notification bell so you do not miss any future episodes. Let's hope I can get enough of you all out there to subscribe, to share, and to like, and get me past this huge censorship hammer that I've been just smashed with over the last 4 or 5 days. I know, my own bad. I like pushing the edge, but that's why I did this channel. I did it for you guys, just to get the truth out there. Anyways, I'm Alias to Guy. Stay informed.